Hey everyone, this is Elias from RevMatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2022 Toyota GR86. Now, this is the follow-up to the GT86. Let's see if the sequel is better than the original, or that second follow-up album is better than the original. Let's get started. We get started in the front and we can see this thing is nice. Now, the previous generation, the GT86 from Toyota, compared to the BRZ from Subaru, I love the front end more for the first generation. Obviously, there's been 86s before, but we'll talk about that one and this one. So the previous one, I preferred the BRZ front end. There's just something a little bit better about it. Not with this one. So the GR86 definitely takes it over the Subaru variation of it. I do love this front end a lot more. This blue is nice. The Trueno blue looks really good. Personally though, I'd go with that red. That red looks spectacular in this. But yeah, overall we get started on the headlights and we have an all LED system. It is adaptive. You can clearly see them when you're turning the wheel. It is gonna light where you're kind of going. So it is a nice touch because it does help out to show you where you're kind of going. Overall though, I love this front end. The design is nice. And yeah, let's go ahead and see what we have under this hood. We get under the hood and we have the 2.4 liter Boxer 4 cranking out 228 horsepower. That is connected to the 6-speed automatic and then going to the rear wheels to that limited slip differential. Now, a couple of things. Yes, I did say this was the 6-speed automatic. Yeah, I was not entirely excited to the fact that I was getting the automatic as opposed to the manual that I have driven. You can see in the little video there, but it was great. I love the manual, no issues with that. Love the shifting. It just felt really good. The automatic, not bad. The automatic wasn't that bad. Yes, I know you guys are gonna get to me. There's a couple of things though. So with the automatic though, it was fast. You can't take that away from me. It was really fast compared to probably my shifts on a manual. The only thing it did lack was if I was in manual mode and I happened to be in a higher gear, let's say 5th gear, and if I want to downshift down to 2nd, I do have to sequentially go down with the paddle shifters because it does have paddle shifters. There isn't a program like I forgot what vehicle we reviewed that I could have been in the highest gear in their manual mode, held down the downshift paddle, and it went down to the lowest possible gear that it could. Just kind of like when you hold down the plus and it takes you to the highest in some cars. Yeah, this didn't have it. And I think that is a big flaw that this automatic has. Because if it weren't for that, I wouldn't mind the automatic 100%, especially in stop and go traffic, which we really experienced this week with it. But yeah, other than that though, the power, yeah, let's talk about the dip. We no longer have that torque dip that we did as much. So there's still a little bit, but it really is a great power plant, giving you significantly better linear delivery. So that has been a huge improvement with this newer engine. So I do love that. And it sounds good. It doesn't sound bad. It sounds like a Boxer engine. But overall, this isn't bad. Again, with the automatic transmission is good. Again, with this being the GR86, it is rear wheel drive with a torsion rear diff, limited slip differential, which let's actually talk about that. That has been a little, yeah, it's been unpredictable. And with the traction control in this, it's been extremely unpredictable, which was surprising because in the I don't know if it's maybe the automatic thing, but when I did take out the GR86 manual at the track, so yeah, I was pushing a little bit more, but in just everyday driving, the traction control was extremely lazy. to the point where the car's kind of sliding, and it's like, okay, are you gonna kind of kick in? Because when it kicks in, you kind of have to counter steer for traction control correcting you, or else you're gonna overcorrect. So that was kind of a lazy traction control system, which I don't know. It was just kind of weird to drive because it was really like hit or miss with it. But speaking about traction, let's go ahead and see those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and with this being the premium, we do get the 18-inch wheel, and they are wrapped in the 215/40 Michelin Pilot Sport 4. Couple of things. The wheel, I love the black color. The black color looks so nice in this. I think 18 is the way to go. Wheel to go. But you definitely want to have this larger size. I just personally think it's better. Maybe for weight, maybe go down to the 17 with a meteor tire. But everyday looks, this just looks really nice. And the tires were not bad. The tires were not bad in the front. They were in the back, which we'll definitely discuss, but it's more on the, I want to say, the rest of the system tying in with the tire. But overall though, it's a nice looking package. The other thing as well, the brakes on this are incredible. Yes, we have the automatic, and automatic brake pedals usually feel mushy. Not with this one. It felt better than some manual cars feel. And the crazy thing about this is because of that, it's let me actually learn how to left foot brake. Yeah, I was left foot braking the majority of the time because it just felt that good. And I'm horrible at left foot braking. So this was a nice car to kind of test that on and learn, really. But it's just a really, really good setup. The suspension though, that's where it suffers a bit with slower speeds. This thing does not like to be driven slow because it will really shatter your teeth in the sense of like, or actually no, just kind of your brain's gonna be just kind of moving in there. It doesn't like, again, slow speed bumps or just slow speeds that just have a lot of bumpy roads. But the times that we've taken this on the highway, the times we've taken this on some roads that are 50, 60 mile an hour, and we're able to get those speeds, it has been so rewarding. That suspension has been so good. And even hitting those bumps at those same speeds, it's a completely different vehicle. It's funny because my wife goes, what is going on? Why is it, why is this car so bumpy? And she's like, do you have it in sport mode? Which it doesn't change anything suspension related. And I said, no, it's just, we're going to the store, which is slower speed roads. And then when we went to the mall, which you need to get highways here, it was such a dream. And she's like, wow, this is a completely different vehicle. Like she could really, you could literally see it when the lights were kind of doing this on the slower speeds. But yeah, let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. We get to the side and we can see this is what makes the GR86 such a beautiful looking car. This side profile is incredible. It's like you got an Lexus RCF and then just made it a little bit smaller. And yeah, it is such a great compliment to this car. A couple of things. We take a look at the hood and we can see it's a fairly low hood, and that again is why we have a boxer engine, so that things can be lower, the center of gravity. Every single inch of making it lower will help out. So yeah, we see a really low hood, and we have the nice 18-inch wheels, which look great there. We can see some of the front scoop air opening there, which looks great. And then we have the fender opening here, which is incredible. It's a functional, yeah, I can I can see through, I can see my finger right through there. So it does work. Such a small little thing, but I love that little design aspect there. We have the nice black mirrors, which are good. The black molding around, love it. Again, that blue looks so nice. We have nice side skirts here that just look really, really nice. The lines that we get here to come up and then just kind of come over here. Again, this is why this car is such a big thing for Toyota. It looks great. I love the way that this looks. Yeah, that back there, we'll talk about it when we get to the back. But overall though, it is a nice looking car. Now, I have the key fob let me go ahead and lock it, and key fob is in my hand. I can go ahead and do that, and we're open. Yes, it has a sensor, so I don't have to go fumbling for the keys, and it opens up, and we do have a frameless window, which looks really, really nice. But overall, oh yeah, and then just lock right in there. It looks really good. I love the side profile. But probably what I love more is back there. So let's go ahead and head back there. We get to the back, and this is another angle that I love about the GR86. Let's get started. So we take a look at the taillights. I love this taillight design that just kind of comes out from the body and basically creates or finishes this design line here. The rear taillights as well, the design is really nice. I love the little elements you have inside. It's a great looking design. And we'll get to this in a bit, but we have the exhaust tips down here. Yes, they are functional. Yes, they are real tips. Yes, they are not fake. They are connected to the exhaust. So nice design there. And again, we have the single on both, or the dual exhaust there. It's just a really nice rear. So let's talk about this. The duckbill rear spoiler. Get it. Don't buy a GR86 without this. This makes the GR86 what it makes it look perfect. It really does. I love this design. It's not a small duckbill either. It's a very aggressive line, and thank you, Toyota, for doing that, because I think it really needed this design element to it. And yeah, that's why when I was looking to buy one, I was looking at the GR86 Premium, so that this came with it. It is almost a necessity. I wanna say. My favorite thing, you're driving, you look in your rear view mirror, and you see this here. Now, what would take it to the next level? If this were functional, you know, if it was a different element, and I've seen it, some aftermarket company was making them, prototyping them, but that would be so nice to have that, you know, at certain speeds or manually activate it, this guy comes up. Now, when we come in here to the storage, it's not bad. It's not the greatest. The back seats do go down, so you can put items through, which gives you extra. The biggest problem with this is this opening here. So between kind of the bottom and the top, there's not much. So you can't, as much as there's space in there, you really can't fit a big box in here. So just be aware of that. I did pick up a Miata differential for our project, so that was able to go in here, but I got a bucket of sports brakes for that. I could not put the bucket in here. It did have to kind of lay down on its side, and then it went in. So this would really be the only kind of tough thing if you're planning to load up some things in here. But overall, I love this rear. Now, I would get my key fob and remote started, except there's no remote start in this, which is a shame, because you kind of get away with the, you know, if you don't have a manual, then at least give me the creature comforts of the benefits of an automatic, and that is remote start. But yeah, this guy doesn't have it, or at least I couldn't figure it out. Everywhere said press lock once, 2, 3, hold it, and yeah, nothing happens. So we're gonna go ahead and hop in because it's getting really cold. We get inside of the GR86, and this thing is a true sports car. There's some things I wish would change for the sake of everyday driving, but we'll definitely go through those. But yeah, overall, it's a lot of stuff you need, a lot of stuff you don't need, some stuff you kind of still wish you had, but yeah, let's get started. So we get started on the door, and we have this Alcantara kind of finish here at the top. It's nice, it's soft, it's really, really good, and the positioning is great if you want to have your arm at a higher position to grab the steering wheel. Very comfortable. You also have the armrest down here, which is really comfortable. This cup holder is nice. It's, like I said, better that you have this one here than the other ones. And we have the window controls, which are nicely placed there, very easy to get to. No complaints on that side of things. Then we get to the seats, and the seats are nice. They're very sporty. They're still big boy friendly, so they still kind of hug me, and well, let me kind of sink in a little bit. They're super comfortable, no issues there. They look great. They look great. No complaints on that. They do have a heated element. It does heat up because one of these days it was really cold, not just today, but and I just kind of was in the car waiting for my wife, so I gave her the nice little high treatment for the heat, and she gets in, she goes, my ass is burning. So it was definitely hot. So it can definitely get hot. But yeah, other than that, they're really comfortable. We get to the wheel, and the wheel is really nice. It has a soft leather on it, and we have the nice grayish white stitching on it. I like it. It looks really nice. It feels really good. On the left-hand side, we have your radio controls, and on the right-hand side, we have your gauge cluster controls. I hate that. It's wrong. Toyota, this is wrong. You should have your radio options on the right and your gauge cluster stuff on the left. Because guess where the gauge cluster is in relations to the infotainment system? Yeah, come on. So it's been kind of one of these like, oh wait, kind of things. But that's really my only complaint with that. And we also have the paddle shifters on this because yes, this is the automatic, and the paddle shifters are nice. I wish they were a little bit longer in literally every single direction, so closer to the edge of the wheel and a little bit lower as well. But you know, when you kind of adjust to accommodate them, they've been pretty nice. They do have a nice heavy, just high quality material to them, so I do like that. Then we get to the gauge cluster, and the gauge cluster is a big change for the GR86. So we have this digital screen, and right now on the left hand side, so let me use my right controls to kind of go through, you know, we have the information panel where you have things for the battery, the temperature, you know, MPGs, you have, you know, the tire pressure, we have the dyno sheet, so to speak, where we can see the power graph on there. We have a lap timer, we have your G-forces, so we have a couple of cool fun things. We have your infotainment stuff as well, and then obviously the safety settings for there. But it's nice on the left hand side. In the middle, it's nice as well. We have a nice, because we are not in the track mode, we do have the option for the round tachometer, and with the speedometer obviously in the middle. When we do change it, when we go to track mode, we do get a more linear is the bad choice of words, but which we'll discuss. But we have a kind of like an S2000 kind of like, you know, digital tachometer meter kind of thing. Now, the reason why I say it's not linear is because of the fact that between 2000 and, well, between 0 and about 4,000, that covers about this much. Then we get to 4,000 to 5,000, and 1,000 worth of RPMs is this bigger. It is not a linear kind of bar to fill up. It's horrible. It just make everything linear, because all of a sudden we're getting a little bit of bars filling up, because obviously to scale, it's a little bit of bar means a lot, and then it just shoots way up. I mean, not super, because we don't have a lot of power in this, but it's just a very awkward thing to kind of see. Downshifting is obviously if you're downshifting and you're below the 4,000, it just looks weird. It needs to be linear. We could have done without having the 9,000, because we're not reaching 9,000, so we could have removed that, pushed the 8 over, just everything a little bit more linear. Yeah, that was probably my biggest complaint with this. And then we have the right side of it, which we really can't change, and we only have, or at least I couldn't. I tried figuring out where to change it, but we just have the temperature gauge, and we have the gas as well. Yeah, that needs to get reworked to the point where I didn't like going into track mode. I preferred being in the normal with sport, because it gave me a linear round tachometer. So yeah. Then we get over to the infotainment system, and we have a nice big screen. I love this. I love that it's a matte screen, helps with reflections, and you're able to see everything clearly. no complaints there, except that it's not wireless Apple CarPlay. Yes, I know, I'm complaining that a sports car doesn't have wireless Apple CarPlay, which should be the least of my worries in a sports car, but it's not, because I love my music, and I mean, that's what drives me. Literally, the music is what drives you and gets you in trouble. Yeah, officer, sorry, I was listening to an awesome song and it made me just go faster. But the reason why I think it's crucial to have a wireless system is because we have no space for a cable, and we'll discuss where the cable is in this. But yeah, other than that though, it looks great. Haven't had any issues with it. Love it. Then we come down here to the AC controls, and very simple, very straightforward. My kiddo loved the red lights that this has, so definitely a nice design. You know, very tactile buttons. I just love the feel of this system here. It's been in auto, it's been doing great in auto. No complaints there. It's just a really good, simple, but beautiful looking and sporty looking system. Then we come back a little bit more, and yes, this is what everyone's going to complain about, and it's the automatic transmission on this. So we do have the shifter. It is a nice shifter though, so I do like the feel of it, even though I'm not really moving it much unless I go into manual mode. But yeah, it's still a nice design. I thought it was, I knew I was getting the automatic, but when I saw the shifter, I'm like, could it be possibly that it was a mistake? And yeah, turns out it just looks like a manual shifter. So it is still automatic. We come back a little bit more, and we have a manual handbrake. Yes, we don't have an electronic handbrake. So at least we can celebrate about that. So I do love that. It's nice and big, no complaints. You know, the positioning is just perfect. And yeah, you can just, it works. We come over to the right, and we have some performance fun buttons. We have traction control off, we have the sport mode, we have snow mode, and we have track mode on as well. So yeah, they look nice. And then a little bit back, we have the heated seat function. So we do only have like a 2 level. We have a low and a high. Like I said, this stuff does work. It does get really nice and toasty in these. We come a little bit back, and we have a cup holder. It's a square cup holder, which is kind of annoying, because when you have a round cup, it's just gonna kind of wiggle in there, or a water bottle. That's why I said stick to the ones on the door. Yeah, it works so much better. And not just that, but to reach as well. So it's easier to reach through there. We come a little bit more behind this, and this is where I'm talking to you about the cable. The cable is beyond, it's literally behind me. The connection is behind me. It's uncomfortable to kind of grab, and the other cup holders are back here, which are really more, I would say, if anything, for the rear passengers, because there's no way that I can, yeah, it's just really uncomfortable to grab anything back there. So yeah, just stick to the ones on the doors. And yeah, like I said, I'm now having to run the cable, and just having to kind of put this inside here. It's just with the cable, so you kind of have to put it in a certain position. Not the ideal situation. We get to the back, and the back seats are pretty much non-existent. So my kiddo is 8 years old, and he has his booster seat back there. So we do have connections for baby seats, which is nice. Now, when he was a little bit smaller, we had him in the was it? Yes, it was the Hakone Edition 86, which he had a blast in. He loved. It was easier to get him back in there with the booster seat, because of the fact that we had his feet weren't that large. So it's funny, because when he's sitting back there, because his feet are larger now, and this was about 2-3 years ago, his feet are larger, but his legs aren't long enough to kind of put his feet under the seat, under the passenger seat. So he kind of is dangling them, and my wife can barely put her seat back, or else his feet are stuck. So that was kind of a letdown, and the annoyance of the week, so to speak, of kind of finding a spot where, you know, she can get in and be comfortable, and we're not squeezing his feet either. So to the point where we got we had him take off his shoes to just give you that couple inches or like half an inch of additional space to make it easier for him to sit. But yeah, that's kind of what we have with that. Then we get to the trunk area, and the trunk area is nice. It's not the biggest, don't expect it, but you still can fit a couple of things. I did go get some Miata parts, and I was able to pick up a diff, some brakes, and no issues with it back there. Now let's talk performance. We're dealing with the 2.4 liter flat 4 boxer engine cranking out 228 horsepower, and that's connected to the 6-speed auto and then to the rear wheels. Now, a couple of things with this. Yes, it's an automatic, and there's a couple of things I don't like about this automatic, but some things I really love about this automatic. So we're gonna go ahead and put it in track mode, and we're gonna hold the brake, get it revving, and go. Yeah, it doesn't sound bad. You know what's gone? The dip. Don't buy the dip, guys. Yes, as much as it's in the stock market, that's the goal, to buy the dip. You don't want it in a power plant, and it's been corrected significantly. Yeah, you still have a little bit of kind of what's going on. Again, the gauge cluster thing is kind of weird as well when you're in the track mode, but it's not bad. So I do love the automatic. The automatic is nice to shift. So if I'm in manual mode, I can go up and down the gears, and they're very responsive. So the shifts are really responsive. There you go, there you go, there you go. It's just really, really quick. That was the biggest surprise with this. Yes, I know the manual, it shouldn't be available in an automatic. It's not a bad automatic, but it's programmed wrong. I'll tell you what I mean. So, gosh, I can't remember which is the automatic performance car that I drove, but if I held down the minus button, it would downshift to the lowest possible gear, which is kind of what you want. I don't want to have to go, have to press from 6th all the way down to 2nd to get going. I want to be able to just hold down the minus, and it just drops it down to 2nd, and I can go. Yes, I can be in drive and do that, and it will do it. But if I'm in manual mode, give me a little bit of that manual-esque performance. Give me the function of me being able to be in 6th and then just drop it down to 2nd. Yeah, it's a big drop, but yeah, with the gearing, I mean, I was going fairly slow. But give me that functionality of a manual in a performance program. I think that's my biggest rant with this transmission. The next thing, the suspension. The suspension of this for Gailing is unbearable. Unbearable. And I'll tell you what it is. This thing does not like slow speeds. So I will just kind of, yeah, at slow speeds, and I'm doing 35 right now. At slow speeds, this thing is so stiff feeling. Yeah, it's not a car that likes to be driven slow. You drive it fast though, and go on those same bumps, and they feel amazing. They feel so smooth. They feel so responsive. It gives you the feel that you need. That's the crazy thing with this. The other thing with the GR86 is the brakes. The brakes are incredible on this. That pedal feel is, the only thing I can think of is the Elantra N. That thing had such an amazing feeling brake pedal, and this probably surpasses it because of the fact that it's an automatic. I kind of expect that from a manual, because typically manual brakes are a little bit stiffer than more comfortable automatic brakes, but this thing has been so nice to the point where I have been able to left foot brake. Yeah, I've never been able to kind of left foot brake. My left foot is just, it's kind of been an all or nothing suspension for a clutch to find that sweet spot or the engagement point, but not with this. With this, the brakes, I can left foot brake with no problem. That is a smooth braking right there. Yeah, it's crazy how it's just able to do that. I'm so, thank you Toyota for being able to create that. But let's go ahead and go. Okay, the other thing, traction control. Traction control in this is lazy. It's extremely lazy. It was a little bit scary. So granted, so what I mean by that is I've done a harder left turn and the rear kicks out significantly, and literally you don't feel it, you don't see the traction control kick in till I was having to do a good amount of counter steer. Yeah, that's a big problem, especially that it hasn't been, and it wasn't cold tires because it was something that I was driving for a while. The surface wasn't slick. It wasn't you know, it wasn't a cold day like it is today. So it's none of those, oh, it could be this, it could be, it's just plain lazy. It really is a lazy system, which is fine, but with the automatic, it's kind of scary because it could shift midway if you're kind of giving it a little too much. But yeah, I don't know. It just, that was probably one of the biggest things. And it does feel kind of like the Supra, where when the traction, when it starts sliding, it feels like it's on ice. Yeah, I don't know if it's the tires, but the Supra, if you guys watched that review, it was just constantly feeling like it was on a sheet of ice. But other than that though, this is a fun car. It's like I said, it likes to be driven fast, and so you do have the shifter points, so that's a nice little touch. It's just been a great fun vehicle. On the turns, again, when you're at speed, it just feels really, really good. There is that power is just so good. That exhaust sounds so incredible. It's just so much better than the previous gen. If you're looking at getting a GR or a previous gen 86, don't even bother with the previous gen. Yeah, it's just, you're gonna get in a friend or someone's GR and then regret your decision to settling with a previous gen 86. Yeah. And again, the suspension, it's just so much fun. Yeah, when it's at speed. When it's not, you're definitely gonna feel it and you're gonna get kind of sick. It just, yeah, but higher speeds and fun driving, that's what this thing is all about. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Toyota GR86, and remember, find the right gear. See ya.